Shoot. Karens, corny people, and politically correct, like political correctness or just politically correct nerds or whatever. Let me begin by saying I'm cool with everybody. I've always had friends of all kinds. I've always had friends that were nerds of all types, all kinds, right? But there's such a thing as cool nerds. Let's make the distinction. There's such a thing as cool nerds, right? Like I can't think of famous. I'm trying to think of famous examples. Let's say Eric Dubé, right? Or something like that, right? Johnny Woodard from Broken Simulation. There's cool nerds, and then there's nerd, F word. I want to say really bad, but I don't even know what you can do now on this thing. There's cool nerds, and then there's nerd, F words. That those are the type that ruin it for everybody else. They ruin the fun for everybody else. They suck the fun out of everything. They take the fun out of everything and ruin it for everybody else and shit. Those of us that actually, like to rip ass and have fun, and those of us that are fucking doers. And not just fucking not just NPCs and background NPCs. They're cool nerds that is like, okay, I know I've had a bunch of cool nerd friends, like there's like, okay, we're different, but we just live and let live. We could be totally different. They could be totally different from me in every way, right? In almost every way, we're different as hell, but you can still have, because I'm a deep thinker. I like to have deep conversations and shit that's on a higher level, on a higher spiritual level, or just deep thinker, philosophical talks, things that are on a higher spiritual level, or just conspiracies. Occasionally you'll meet someone that's at least open to conspiracy. I'll test the waters, make a joke about it, and if they laugh or get it, then I know I can like rip ass, right? And it's like live and let live. Talking to Ned Flanders one time, the guy that I told you had an intervention with me back at the end of 2021. Let me make it specific, right? At the end of 2021, Ned Flanders that had an intervention with me, and then shortly thereafter, a couple, maybe not even a couple months after, I was going through some shit, right? And I reached out to him like a friend, right? And I really needed someone to be on my side in that moment, right? And he blew me off. He ignored me and avoided my ass. He ignored my ass and blew me off. And then after that, I was like, shit, man, I reached out. He fucking blew me off, right? What's going on? And then, what's up with that? And then, and then after that time that he blew me off for like a year and a half, he just acted like I was dead to him. I was dead to him. He just acted like I didn't exist. I was dead to him, right? And then recently, like 2 weeks ago, he reached out to me, right? And I was like, I didn't respond. I was like, I didn't respond literally, but in my mind, in my heart and soul, I'm like, fuck you, right? Fuck you, right? I'm like, now. Like, why now? Right? When I really needed someone to be on my side, and I thought that was a friend for real. Well, but yeah, no, I used to think Karens was not even, I was like, that shit ain't real. That's just like, that shit is like, that happens like, that's like, that must be super rare, and it happens like somewhere far away in an isolated incident. And the media just finds that one rare occasion and blows it up and make it seem like that shit's like all over the place. I used to think like that shit's not real, right? But it's really like that. It really is, like, Karens that would just ruin the fun for everybody else, right? And all of this shit. And cancel culture is real also. I used to think like, that's just like somewhere far away, somewhere over the rainbow, far isolated incident that they just blow up to make it seem like that's happening all the time. or like, or that only happens in Hollywood, but that shit's real also. Like, someone can see something you posted and they don't like it, or you shared an opinion that they don't like, or you made a joke that they don't like, or they just don't like you the way you are. So they'll make up some shit. They'll make up some bullshit, some lie. They'll make up some bullshit, some lie to try to get you either banned from somewhere, kicked out of somewhere, or fired, like fired, lose your job. And that shit is real also. I used to think that was like, that's somewhere over there, only in Hollywood or some isolated incident, right? No, but that's real. Like, for free speech, right? For just because you shared an opinion they don't like, or you made a joke they don't like, which is free speech, right? Is defended under the Constitution, and the Constitution is defended under the God, or if you guys believe in God, God-given freedom, right? As long as you don't, as long as you're not harming anybody else physically, we have God-given freedom to speak, right? And some guys coming to tell me to leave, probably. Leave. Like, they always, when you're a targeted individual, that shit happens. Like, everybody else will be doing the same thing, and nobody bats an eye. They're like, whatever. But you're the one that gets the crap. Gets the crap. That's always happened to me, right? And I used to never know what it was until I found out I was a targeted individual, right? Look up New Breed, Global Truth, and Enoch the Freestyle Prince. Those are two huge YouTubers that have spoken about targeted individuals and gang stalking and all these psyops and MK Ultra shit. That shit real, right? Like, when I heard them explaining it years ago, I already knew since like early 2018, right? When I heard them explaining it, I was like, holy shit, all of that is exactly what happened to me, right? But shit, I lost track of what the point was. Yeah, that shit real. Karens and cancel culture, that shit real. And politically correct, like, nerds and shit. There's cool nerds and then there's PC, you know. So it's not specifically like, specifically I dislike a certain type of person. I've always had friends that were all types, right? Because I'm everything, right? Basically, I was thinking about it. I was like, but when you're everything, you don't fully fit in anywhere, right? You don't fully fit in. But I want a friend with the skaters and the everything. Skaters, stoners, metalheads, everything you could think of, I don't know, everyone. Well, I thought everyone this was years ago, right? I was like, oh, everyone likes me and shit. I could fit in anywhere, but not really 100%, right? Because I'm not 100%. I'm not one-dimensional. Most people is one-dimensional. Like, there's no layers to them, and there's no other sides to them. Did the guy leave already? And I've always been especially now, there's so many sides to me that I'm almost everything or whatever. Almost everything. But when you do that, when you're everything, you almost don't fit in anywhere, right? Like 100%. You don't fit in 100% everywhere. But yeah, these people ruin the world. Did I say that already? Karens, politically correct nerds, and corny ass people. Corny people ruin the world, right? They suck the fun out of it, right? Because they're not. They have a fascist mindset. They're not confident enough in themselves or secure enough in themselves for others to have freedom. I heard Alex Jones talk about this one time. He's like confident, actually strong, confident people, talented, charismatic, strong, confident people don't feel threatened by other people having total freedom. You know what I mean? Like me, right? I want someone else to come along and be, fucking awesome or something, right? Right? Like, please. Please. You all the responsibility can't fall on me to be like the. It sounds arrogant as fuck. All the responsibility can't fall on me to be like the funny one or the cool one or whatever. The, you know what I'm saying? And that comes with a lot of problems with you when you're a targeted individual, a chosen one. You can't like people get mad because they can't like. Oh shit, that sounds arrogant as fuck. It comes with problem, right? Like a bunch of girls want me, but I can't really commit to them and shit like that, right? So then, but they turn, they turn to hate, which is not correct, right? Like they easily turn to hating you, right? Which is not correct, right? But I understand that, it's like if you follow Jesse Lee Peterson, sometimes people cannot help it. Like they turn to, they easily are turned in. They can easily be turned. Their love can easily be turned into hate. You know what I mean? Um, I forgot what the whole point of this was. Yeah, gang stalking is real. Judah Naz. I can't read. Judah. My mind is finished. Judah Nazareth. I can't even read the name. That's his name. Judah Nazareth Gay Messiah said gang stalking is real. Yes, it is. Oh, never mind. He's saying some funny shit. My boo-boo is holy. I'll bless your rod. Oh, Jesse Lee helped me come out of the top. Jesse Lee Peterson. There's like a few people that are that are huge influences on my life. I didn't think. I thought I used to think I didn't have any heroes or didn't look up to anybody or wasn't influenced by anybody. But there's a couple of men that I always find myself reverting back to things that I learned from them. And I'm like, holy shit, this is true. If I would have listened to what they said, it would, if I would have listened to what they taught, uh, you know, shit would have worked out or something, But Jesse Lee Peterson, a Christian pastor, Eddie Bravo really woke up my mind something big time, right? Eddie Bravo, the Mexican comedy conspiracy legend, right? Who else? Oh, Alex Jones and Patrice O'Neal. Can you still hear me? It sounds fucking weird. Alex Jones was my first into it or whatever, and then the Patrice O'Neal, a really smart comedian, right? Uh, and then there's other comedians I like George Carlin and Andrew Dice Clay, right? But yes, we hear you. This guy lists some really complimentary things or whatever. He's coming on to me. Well, I'm used to it, right? Like, I'm used to it. Gay guys come on to me all the time, right? And I feel flattered, right? I'm like, oh, shucks, thank you, right? But thanks, but no thanks, right? I feel flattered. Oh, shucks. And then there's the women that can't have you, that easily will turn to hate. And if you understand Jesse Lee Peterson's teaching, is Christian, true, straight, biblical teaching. Most people is easily turned to hate. Their love will easily turn to hate. If you just do something they don't like, you said something they don't like, they flip on you, but when you realize they cannot help it and you don't judge them or get mad, or you realize they can't help it, it hopefully works out in the end, hopefully. But yeah, Karens, corny ass people, and PC nerds, right? There's cool nerds and then there's PC nerd, right? I know I've had a bunch of cool nerd friends, right, in my life, right? And I still have, right? But yeah, Ned Flanders was one of them. or I thought he was a cool nerd, right? I was talking to him one time. I was like, where what the actual definition of liberal is, or me actually, right? Like, which is live and let live. I do whatever I want as long as I'm not harming anyone. You do whatever, you do your thing, whatever. Even though we're totally different, we could be, and even have different opinions and shit. We could be tight friends still. But then he was reprogrammed and switched on me one day out of nowhere. Did a 180 switch from one day to the next, right? And then when I reached out to him, I really needed him. He blew me off and ignored my ass. And then for like a year and a half, I was dead to him. I didn't exist. And I was like, whoa, wow, right? So all this shit is real. Karen's is real. Cancel culture is real. This shit happens at the micro level, not just at the macro. I used to think that shit's not real, or that shit only happens like some isolated incident that the media blows up to make it seem like it's happening all the time, but not really. Not in day-to-day normal people life and shit, but it does. And Karen's also. Corny ass people, who, when you're talking to corny people, out in real life, it seemed like never-ending small talk, never-ending corny, not funny, corny, boring shit that you don't care about, and you instantly feel detached, and you doze off, you daydream. No, Corey Holcomb is a really mean guy. He's funny, but holy shit, he's mean. No, but that thing he did in Dallas, Corey Holcomb, that thing he did in Dallas is classic. When he was like, that was a legendary performance in history. When he was like, oh, you guys don't know me? You'll see, right? You'll see. Or he's like, oh man, the audience is looking at me like, who the fuck is this motherfucker, right? And he's like, you guys will see, right? You'll find out. And he just ripped ass, and I'm like, someone is hardcore and edgy when someone like me goes, oof, like, oof, man, like, oh man, come, like, like when someone like me goes, calm down, or like, oh shit, man, you like relax, right, relax, is, it's like some edgy hardcore shit. Yeah, but Patrice O'Neal was a huge influence. I always find myself reverting back to shit that he said, right? Because he was also like a multi-dimensional person, so many different sides to him, right? Where he was able to even speak to people who hated him, and like racist people, and like women that hated him. He was able to speak to these people and almost even like change their mind and shit. Change their thinking and shit. Oh. What else? Any questions? Any questions? Karen's arm. Oh shit, that's funny. Yes, we hear you. Also, I'm shadow banned like crazy. People have been leaving a bunch of comments in the live chat, and then like they don't show up. Like YouTube just hides them. YouTube just. But Judah, oh shit, Judah. I gotta go. Hold on. I'm gonna keep talking until I run out. Oh yeah. But anyways, yeah. And that is why YouTube sucks now also, because it has become a direct reflection of real life and society out in public. shit, I gotta leave already. Oh, shit. I'm gonna keep talking though until I run out of shit to say. Uh, yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson. I shouldn't even say this because then people want to pin you down, like, oh, you're that type of guy, right? But when most people is not don't have different sides and layers to them. Most people just one-sided, one layer of shit, one layer of diarrhea. There's multiple layers of diarrhea going on, right? And different and multiple sides. I'm almost everything, you know. I'm almost everything. Where's the? Hold on. All right, I'm good. Any questions? Anyone ever had a friend like that just flip on them, did a 180 switch out of nowhere? It was almost like they was reprogrammed and came back as a different person. Listen, I love everybody, right? I have all types of friends, you know, friends over the rainbow. I've always been friends with nerds. I'm almost everything, right? I like nerds because I can at least go into my deeper thoughts and philosophical, you know, rants and higher spiritual things, or maybe they're not spiritual, but I can get into some conspiracy shit or something. And they'll at least hear me out and understand where I'm coming from. If not, that rare occasion, one time I found this friend, Ned Flanders. I'm like, it's rare that you meet anyone out in public that's deep into conspiracy and can talk about it. Not just talk about it, but they're like showing you shit, like, adding on to it, and then some, right? And then some adding on to it. Like, oh, check this out. Did you see this? And obviously, I'm a black belt in this shit, right? I'm like, I know almost everything, right? Almost everything. But yeah, that was very rare, right? I was like, I think I found the only other person in South Texas that's like almost as deep into conspiracy as me, right? Yeah, like he was like, he was deep into InfoWars and shit like that. Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones. He was like, oh, dude, check this out. Did you know that? And I'm like, yes, I knew that. And I was like, shit, how are they letting us do that? Even in public, ripping ass on conspiracy and laughing about it. And I was like, but then at the same time, I was like, we're so different. How the fuck were we tight friends, right? For a while, right? For like at least maybe, I don't know, year and a half or 2 years, right? I used to think like when we would like laugh and joke about conspiracy or something in public, just out in the open, I used to think like, how are they letting us do this, right? Like surely they're gonna, and I was like, well, I'm the TI, so they're probably gonna co-opt him, right? And reprogram him, right? Into this Freemasonic gang stalking MK Ultra psyop, right? And here this go. And I'm psychic also, right? I met this I met this girl one time, and I was like, my first gut psychic like vibe that I got was like, there's something scary and dark in those eyes. There's something scary in those eyes that has me like, oh, there's something dark and scary in there, right? Like I don't fully buy into this thing, right? I don't fully buy into this front, right? There was something Masony, there was something Freemasony and psyopy and almost even like satanic, right? Almost even satanic vibe, right? And I remember, oh shit, I'm getting really specific. This one weird ass thing, right? I think one of the first things, because I'm not into small talk, right? When I meet someone, I get into big ass questions right away, right? I think one of the first things she did was defend NASA, right? Defend NASA. She was like, but why would they lie about that? And then I was like, well, whatever, right? She believed in infinite space and that, and moon landing and stuff like that. I was like, whatever, right? I'm willing to look past this, like, this Freemasony, gang stalky, scary vibe, right, that I'm picking up, right, because she's cute, right, because she's cute. And I was like, well, you're a TI. I was talking to myself like, you're a TI. You're a targeted individual. Where are you gonna, how or where are you ever gonna meet one that's not like, not in the Freemasons or not in the gang stalking program and this cult and this egregore that's been formed against me, right? Look that word up, egregore. Where am I going to meet one that's not in that, right? So I might as well just, like, get used to the idea, right? Get with the idea. Get with the idea. I was like, what was that? Anyone out there a targeted individual? Someone that's has an MK Ultra program being run on them, or a military government psyop being run on them, a gang stalking organized effort against them, or whatever, or just maybe someone just saw the light in you, and this cult, this egregore was formed against you, right? Because there's a spiritual side to it, and there's a spiritual side to it, and then there's the physical, practical, side to it. And both things are going on. To some people, both things are going on at the same time, right? Does this make any sense? Any sense? It's unnatural. It's just, shit, man. I know I got savages and trolls and renegades. I think that's the only people that likes me. Savages, trolls, and renegades that I can't even read what they're saying. I can't even read what they're saying in the live chat, right? If it was in person, I'll be just laughing my ass off and joking with them, right? But being a sodomite, just be so bad. Mr. Bobby says, I'm gonna read it. We're deep in it now, right? So I'm just gonna read it. Mr. Bobby says, being a sodomite is unnatural and wrong, though. Just be celibate. A man's ass isn't made for inserting, bruh. And I don't agree with this type of thinking, right? I don't agree with this type of thinking, right? Because I accept and love everybody, right? I have friends that are, over the rainbow and shit like that, and I've always had, right? But I respect that this guy has the God-given freedom of speech and the constitutional freedom of speech. As long as you're not physically harming anybody, we can rip ass and say what we want, right? Say what we want. And I hadn't spoken to my lawyer. What wrestling any wrestling nerds out there? What wrestling promo is this? The best promos are the ones that are just, you can feel that it's just real resentment and hatred. What promo am I quoting? I hadn't spoken to my lawyers yet. This might not be a good idea. And then I thought, fuck WCW. And fuck you. Who you overblown, bald, egotistical piece of goddamn shit. The Coke promos, Shane Douglas. Anyone a wrestling nerd out there? Two of the best promo guys, Shane Douglas, Iron Sheik. As far as like promos that you can feel like, holy shit, this is real, right? Holy shit, right? Iron Sheik, Shane Douglas, and you know, really good at playing that really good. Roddy Piper, 80s Roddy Piper. And then there's other ones that they're just really good at it, even though it's totally a character that they're doing, like Ric Flair, even though that's based on his actual personality or whatever is based on him. Those are the best ones also, when it's actually based some side of you is that, and then you just blow that up, right? Ric Flair, Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Macho. Oh yeah, Macho. Nah, Macho is too cartoony, right? Macho Man, like for my taste, too cartoony. But it's funny how amped he would get. How amped. No wrestling nerds out there. These guys are just savages. South Park, yes. South Park is God. I always preferred South Park over Family Guy, even though I do like Family Guy. But I preferred South Park over. And I remember one time, they had me with that fucking Cosmos shit, with that infinite space bullshit. Only because Seth MacFarlane, I was a huge fan, right? And Seth MacFarlane will like, watch this. I was watching New Family Guy, right? And he's like, hey, stick around, watch this. I was like, all right. Infinite space. I was like, wow, infinite space, wow. Even though it was all cartoons and CGI, right? CGI. And they're telling us there's four different motions going on at retarded psychotic speeds that you cannot feel at all. And water doesn't go flying off, right? Like when you think of water on a ball, there's no such thing. You can't put water on a ball, on the outside of a ball, and it just sticks. It's retarded, right? Like it's retarded. And it just sticks there magically, doesn't fall off, shit's doing four different psychotic motions, like 66,600 miles per hour. Funny how there's 666 in there, I don't know, but that's what, yeah, right, and then they say, well, it's magic, it's the magic force of gravity, the theory of gravity, right, the magic force of gravity. But then you think of Eddie Bravo blew my mind with this. It holds this, but not that. That's not a tiny gnat, a tiny butterfly, a tiny gnat that weighs nothing, right? Almost negative weight, right? Almost. It can fly and defy gravity and twirl in the air. But it holds huge, infinite oceans, dude, that are just retarded, just way too much, right? Like gravity knows what to hold on to and what not to hold on to, right? So I'm like, well, the only way it would make sense that there's that much water is this is just like a flat, thing, petri dish, ashtray, ashtray. Oh shit! Did I do? Well,